Hi, Andrew. Thank you for joining me today.
Thank you so much, Sib.
Let's start with your background. How did you get started in crypto industry, maybe? And maybe even earlier, what was happening there? And please tell me more about DeFi Tech.
Certainly. Well, I'll go first with DeFi Tech, and then afterwards I'll extend into my background. DeFi Technologies is a NASDAQ-listed company that focuses on bridging traditional capital markets with digital assets. So that means we tend to have professionals who have had experience in the crypto space as well as experience in the financial market space. And that's where I'm coming from. I have always been a computer programmer, but I actually started my training as a financial and risk engineer in my career with Deloitte and Touche, back then Deloitte Consulting. And then in the more recent past, I started working on digital asset and Web3 programming. And prior to my stint prior to becoming president of DeFi Technologies, I was the head of a venture capital division in a layer one foundation.
I know for a fact that DeFi Tech is pretty much focused on ETPs, exchange traded products. Could you please elaborate more on that?
That is correct. DeFi Technologies has a wholly owned subsidiary called Valour. And Valour has a very interesting distinction. Valour has the broadest library of digital asset underlying ETPs of any ETP issuer in the world. I think to date, we currently have 85 crypto-related ETPs listed on premier markets, a minimum of 8 securities exchanges throughout the world. Now, DeFi Technologies also operates in other spaces. For instance, we are a significant shareholder in a Swiss bank, Amina Bank, which is known for being a digital assets bank. We also have a wholly owned subsidiary called Stillman Digital, which is a liquidity provider to centralized exchanges and decentralized exchanges and stablecoin on and off ramps. We also have an AI asset manager called Neuronomics, which is Swiss-based and builds investment strategies for funds. Most of those funds or investments relate to digital assets as well. But our main business, as you correctly pointed out, is the creation of digital asset underlying ETPs.
Oh, yes. And what are the most challenging things in your business?
I think that is a great question. I'm not sure if we look at it as a challenging thing, because I think everybody who loves Web3 and digital assets, we're all sort of trying to communicate the message that these assets are for real, that blockchain is for real, it's useful, and that people shouldn't be afraid of it, that it actually represents freedom. So I would say in terms of challenges, one of the strategic challenges that we have is how do you interface with traditional stock exchanges, traditional investors to understand and accept the product? But that challenge has also been our opportunity. So it's hard to look at it as something bad, because our founders, Johan Wattenstrom and Olivier Rossi-Newton, the wonderful team that we have that put the products together, they've been able to find that secret sauce formula to allow the digital asset products to be accepted by institutional investors.
Interesting. Maybe could you please elaborate more on some, unexpectedly insightful developments, interesting developments, and maybe some insights, right? That could be.
Yeah. I think one of the things that I find very interesting is if you listen to the news and people think about crypto, they're always thinking about Bitcoin. I mean, if you hear any major asset managers, they're talking about the price of Bitcoin. And when Bitcoin goes up, what happens to the crypto market? And Bitcoin plummets, what happens to the crypto market? But what to me is interesting is we have a significant practice, I'll call it, or product library that does include Bitcoin. But I find that there are some very interesting altcoins that are also quite valuable and have an exceedingly high adoption rate. Altcoins like Solana, like Sway. So I think what we're finding is with the increased use of blockchain and Web3, particularly in the case of stablecoins, the newer layer one chains and their associated utility tokens are finding a lot of adoption and traction. And now institutions are starting to wake up to that and build products around that.
All right. And what's your future outlook, right? What's your take on the future of this industry?
I think I'm obviously very bullish on the future of the industry. I actually think that we are very, very much just at the beginning. An interesting statistic I've been using, and I'll probably use it in other discourses or speeches I have of this manner, is that the global market capitalization of Bitcoin now is about $2.3 to $2.4 trillion. The total crypto market is $4 trillion. That means the entire crypto market has a market capitalization less than the market cap of NVIDIA alone. But what is interesting is increasingly people, investors, asset managers are viewing Bitcoin as being analogous to gold. And the market capitalization of gold worldwide is at 23.5 trillion. That would mean that despite ups and downs and sideways movements in the market, it would not be unreasonable to expect there to be a parity between Bitcoin and gold. And if that happens, you're looking at Bitcoin being able to appreciate 10x, 10 times.
Interesting. And one last question.
For sure.
Where do you see DeFi Tech in 10 years from now, 2035?
That is a great question. And I will tell you that we have a very clear vision of where we see DeFi Tech. Obviously, we will continue to leverage our expertise with creating instruments that leverage digital assets. But I think that DeFi Technologies also has some very, very unique capabilities in terms of I have to be careful because I can't give away things that have not yet been announced. But I think that you're going to see that we're going to have an increased role in the capital markets and an increased role in ensuring that digital assets continue to play a big part in traditional capital markets. Yeah.
Thank you very much. This was very, very interesting. You bring a unique perspective whilst doing something completely not, it's not really standard, right? So you don't really get to meet people like you on a daily basis, even at the crypto conferences.
No, it's true. We're sort of traditional finance brought to crypto. But thank you. This is a lovely event, a lovely venue, and thank you so much for having me.
Thank you very much.